Hey guys, what's up? So you can see this is my topology. Okay, I have two router. One router, this is my R1 and two router, this is my R2. Okay, now I configure MP BGP. Okay, so first of all we configure our router. Okay, then we configure our loopback. Then we configure our MP BGP. Okay, so first of all we configure our router one. Okay, so we are enable config terminal, then we write here interface fast ethernet 0 by fast ethernet 0 by 0. Then we can write here our IP address. Okay, 10.0.0.1 and our subnet mask. Then we can write here no shutdown. Then we can write here our loopback. Okay, loopback 0 and our IP address 1.1.1.1. Okay, and our subnet mask 255.255.255. Okay, then no shutdown. Then we are now exit, control Z press. Now we exit and now we check. Okay, show IP interface brief. So you can see our fast ethernet 0 by 0 10.0.0.1 hours successfully up. Okay, and loop back 1.1.1 our status, and okay, status and protocol is up. So then we go to our router 2, same to same configuration. First of all we can write here enable, then we can write here configure terminal interface fast ethernet 0 by 0. Then we can our write here IP address 10.0.0.2. Okay, and our subnet mask we can write here. Then we can write here no shutdown. Then we can write here loopback 0. Our loopback IP address 2.2.2.2 and our subnet mask we can write here. Okay, then no shutdown. Then we can write then we can control plus Z. Now we can exit and now we can check show IP interface brief. So you can see our fast ethernet 0 by 0 10.0.0.2 our status up and loopback 2.2.2 our status up. Okay, so now we go to our router 1. Okay, we go to our router and 1 and our configure is start mpbgp. Okay, so first of all we write here enable config terminal. Then you can write here router bgp, router bgp, our router remote as number you can write here. Okay, our router bgp remote as number 61001, so I can write here. Then enter. Then we can write here our router bgp id. Okay, so bgp router id, our bgp router id we can write here 1.1.1. Okay, then we can write here neighbor meaning our next router address. Okay, what is neighbor meaning? Neighbor meaning our next router address. So our next router address we can write here 10.0.0.2 and our next remote s number we can write here. Okay, 61002. So I can write here remote s number. Then we can write here an address family. Okay, IP version 4. Okay, IP version 4 unicast. Why I using IP version 4? Because this is our IP version 4 only using the IP address, not IP version 6. Okay, so I using IP version 4 unicast. Then enter. Then you go to neighbor. Okay, neighbor meaning I can already say neighbor meaning. What is neighbor? Neighbor meaning our next address. Okay, so our next address 10.0.0.2. Okay, then we can write here activate. Okay, we can write here activate. Then we enter. Then we write network. So which router network? R1 router network. So I configure R1. So then I write here 1.1.1.1. Okay, sorry, 1.1.1.1, and you can write here mask, write here your mask. Okay, then we can now exit address family, then we are now exit. Okay, so same configuration, we go to our router 2 and configure. Okay, then go to router 2, first of all enable, then config terminal, then we can write here router BGP 61002. Okay, then we can write here router BGP. Okay, BGP router id, okay, 2.2.2.2, then enter. Then you can write here neighbor, our neighbor 10.0.0.1, and our remote s. Okay, our remote s 61001. Then you can write here address family IP version 4. Then you can write here unicast. Then you can write here then you can write here neighbor. Okay, neighbor meaning our next IP address, I mean our next router address. So neighbor we can 10.0.0.1. Okay, activate. Then we can write here network. Okay, our network, this is our router 2, so I can write here our router 2 network. Okay, 2.2.2. Okay, and our mask we can write here marks, overall same to same marks, not customize. So now we can write here exit address family, then we can now exit, and control Z press, we can now finally exit. So first of all we can check our router 1. Okay, so control Z, and now I check show IP BGP summary. So you can see our BGP configuration successfully. So now I check show IP BGP. Okay, you can see our BGP network confirmation successfully 1.1 and 2.2. You can see 32 bit, I mean 32. Okay, so let's go our router 2. Now I check show BGP. First of all I show BGP checking, so you can see our successfully. Then I check show IP BGP summary. So you can see our neighbor and our version and our S is totally successfully configured. So in this video I see how to configure our MP BGP. I hope you understand. So this video in this topic. So thank you so much.